today. What's up, everybody? My name is Corey with Mission Side Hustle, and I am on a mission to turn $500 into $1 million. And today I'm coming at you guys with some pretty important net worth updates because I haven't posted in quite some time. It's been like 2 months, so I definitely want to talk about some of the challenges I've been facing because I suspect a lot of you guys have been facing these same challenges too. And I'll also touch on why I haven't posted in so long. And then lastly, I'll talk about some opportunities that I think lie ahead. We got a lot to talk about today. It's been a little bit. And today's video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN, but more on them later. Now bear with me today because this is my first time doing a video where I go much more deeply into the numbers. It's really a video for people who are interested in how my business is performing as well as the investments that we're making. So it's gonna be a lot of numbers. I'm gonna try my best to not make it confusing. And I'll even put up at some point a screenshot of what I'm talking about to help us like a visual aid to maybe make things more clear. And if you guys have any questions or just simply want to chime in, please just leave me a comment and I'll do my best to get back to everybody. So with all that said, let's get caught up. Now, first and foremost, for this video today, I think we'll just dive straight into the net worth changes because this has been the course of like 2 months. I haven't given a kind of a larger update like this in a while here. And primarily these changes are gonna come from 2 places. One is going to be like the sales and flipping income from the couch business here. And the other is going to be from the real estate purchase we made earlier this year. We've sold 14 couches, mostly the 5-piece sets. Those are more expensive than the 4-piece set, obviously. But we had a total sales of $21,696. The cost of goods on those items was $12,400, and that left us a gross profit of $9,296. Now, directly from the couch business, we had expenses of $4,730. This included things like our warehouse rent, insurances that we have for like the van and the business, as well as gas. And that left us a profit of $4,566. Now I'll say that number is all fine and well, and it moves the needle a little bit for our net worth, not a ton, but I really have been hitting the gas the way that I have been in the past, and you know, I really got to change that. I got to get back into it a little bit harder here. Where we do make some big net worth jumps though is in the real estate side of things. We spent $5,000 extra to account for that increased cost of living. That paid down the loan to the property, $993, which gives us a little bit of equity. And the no pay down is good, but where we've really done well is the appreciation. So as usual, and as I've mentioned before, what I do is I just take the estimated value from the big 3 platforms like Realtor.com, Zillow, and Redfin, take those 3 numbers and create the average from them. And by doing this, we get a new home value of $641,802. And previously it was $608,094, which is nearly a $34,000 increase. Now, let me be the first to say these large jumps in value are not normal, and I don't suspect they're gonna continue, but there is a reason for them. When we bought the property, we bought it deeply undervalued. And what we see happening now is these platforms are taking comps from sales that are happening in the local area for similar type of properties, and that's how they're extrapolating that and making these estimates. And since we purchased the property so undervalued, that number is shooting up really fast, but I do suspect, like I said earlier, to kind of level off and normalize. It should still appreciate a little bit, but these huge jumps, I think they're only gonna last for a little bit here, but we'll take it. So now that I've spoke about those 2 main drivers, here's where I'll put up the visual aid to kind of give you a bit more perspective. I'll just put it on screen now, maybe just talk while it's showing it for a moment here. Considering all these changes, we have a net worth increase of $34,267. That gives us a total net worth on the channel of $198,130, just shy of that 200K milestone. Hopefully this tracker makes sense to you. It makes sense to me, but I also made it, so there's a little bit of bias there. If you have questions, just let me know. I'll try to answer them all. Now look, an increase like that is great, and I'm super happy with the direction things have been going lately, but it's not been without its challenges, trust me. There was a period like for 2 or 3 weeks, this was back in like late April, early May, where I think I sold like 2 couches. It was dead. And I think anyone who's doing couch flipping or sales on Facebook Marketplace right now will tell you that Facebook Marketplace is having a huge problem with scammers and scam listings right now. And that's creating a lot of problems for legitimate sellers because it starts to flood that marketplace page, so our listings, our legitimate listings, are harder to find. And then people end up getting burned by these scammers. They leave the platform altogether, which means we have less customers that are out there looking to buy. And it's not good. It's really bad for business. I think a lot of people were really struggling. Probably a lot of people still are struggling. And it's tough because it's out of our hands. But it's something that's been a real challenge, so I think we're gonna have to just figure out a way to either live with it or work around it. one way or another. And speaking of scammers, a quick word from today's sponsor. Now, something recently happened to me that I haven't spoken about on here, and that's that my account got hit with some fraud and they ran up a check on Grubhub. These boys were eating good. And coincidentally, not long after that, today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, came along, and I really just took that as a sign. If you don't know what a VPN is, it stands for Virtual Private Network, and basically what it does is it masks what you do online. And this keeps your private information private, such as in my case, it keeps my bank account secure when using other networks like a public Wi-Fi. And for me personally, the security is by far the most important feature, but there is a lot of other uses that I haven't even tapped into yet. With Surfshark, I can change my virtual location to back home if I'm traveling. I can access different content libraries around the globe, and I can even get better deals on things like flights that alter their prices based on your location and retargeting. Check them out today and use my code SIDEHUSTLE for 3 months for free, and then after that, it's only like $2 or $3 or $4 depending on what plan you select going forward. Thanks again to Surfshark for today's sponsorship, and now back to the video. Now, the scammers and fraudsters, they might be out of my control, but this next one is a bit more personal. I do have control over it, so it is my fault. And that's because instead of focusing on one video at a time as I normally do, I've been juggling a lot of them at once and not making any progress on any one of them in particular as a result. I've got an AirPod flipping video coming. I've got a small appliance flipping video coming. I've got another B-Stock one coming. I've got a couple real estate listings that I'm selling, so that video will be coming too, and a couple others. So a lot of things going on at once. Because I'm not focusing on any one in particular, none of them are really getting done. I will have a lot of them done all at once, which will be nice, but for the time being, I don't really have anything completed fully. So that sucks. Add in the fact that it's summertime, you'll probably see me progressively getting sweatier as this video goes on, and that means my kids are home from school. And the thing that's different now on the channel that's been different in the past is that my kids are getting a lot older. They're at an age now where we go and do a lot of stuff. I spend all my free time with them, and I love it. It's great. And I wouldn't change a thing about it, but it still felt like an uphill battle trying to get these videos produced. So I apologize for the delay. I know you guys don't hold it against me, but it's personally disappointing for me at least when I'm not able to consistently post like I want to. Just, you know, I'd pay good money. I'd pay really good money if I could get a few more hours in every day. And this is not, by the way, just let me clarify, I am not complaining one bit. I am stoked that I get to do this on here, and I get to live my life outside of here as well. I got a great thing going. I'm super grateful for everything that I have. I just want to give a realistic picture as to what it's like, because I do get comments sometimes on here that say things like, how do you do it all? How do you do this? How do you fit all the stuff? And da-da-da-da. The answer is, I don't. Sometimes I don't do it all. I have priorities, and they basically go as like family, and then, you know, and then actually making the business function, and then YouTube and other stuff goes down from there. So sometimes things don't make the cut and you don't hear from me for about a month. Even though we've had some challenges, we've had an uphill battle in some ways, I'm super optimistic of what's to come here in the future. We got a lot of opportunities that I think are out there. We just got to take them. Now, to do that though, I'd like to take a step back, kind of get a bird's eye view of what are we actually doing here? And are we following the path that we set out on? And I would encourage you guys to do the same thing. If you're following a path similar to me, maybe you are further ahead, perhaps you're a little further behind. Oh my gosh, I am getting blinded by the reflection of my van right now. That was supposed to be inspiring, and now I can't see. I gotta move. I'll scoot over. So where was I? If perhaps you're a little further ahead or maybe a little further behind, I would encourage you to step back, take a bird's eye view as far as what you're doing, what you're working on. Are you following the path you set out on for initially? Now, one of the ideas I've spoken about in the past is something called the cash flow quadrant, moving from an employee to self-employed to a business owner to an investor. And I've always viewed the flipping and sales that we do as a really good cash flow generator for that self-employed category. And I've had ideas of hiring people to help out in this furniture business and taking it to the next level, and it's still on the table. I wouldn't rule it out, but I have had a bit of a perspective change on this business. It's in a sweet spot right now. Any less business, it wouldn't really be worth it, and any more, I really would need to hire people out to facilitate the extra work and try to scale it that way. So I think I'm kind of like at that max point where I'm doing as much as I can comfortably do on my own. As it stands right now, it makes money every month without needing much work at all and very little management. There isn't much to do when I'm ordering all the stuff brand new in the box. You basically unload the truck, do the showings, and make the sales happen. That's it. Perhaps one thing I could do is mix back in some B stock, get some more pre-owned inventory in here to create a little bit more diversity in my offerings. That certainly is possible. But right now, I got a pretty sweet thing going that fits my lifestyle really, really well. This is perfect. What I'm doing right now is perfect for cash flow generation. Honestly, I don't know what does better for the amount of work put into it. I do still want to build a business though more traditionally as people know it, employees, scaled out, things like that. And I do think that if I were to do that, I would want to focus on something perhaps a bit more online based, some type of product, whether that be a digital product or a physical product. I'd like to keep my eyes out for something like that. I think we're positioned to do something like that. Just need to figure out what exactly it's gonna be. But that's a whole separate idea. The point that I wanted to mention is that I feel like we could be putting our cash to better use. We got a cash flow generating business. We got to put our cash to use. It's evident. We can see how purchasing the real estate has increased our net worth just this year, and I think we should really continue that line of thought. So currently we have $48,000 in cash. I'd like to keep enough cash in the account so we continue to make these orders, because we got to keep the business going. But with the remainder that's left over from that number, I'm going to make a sizable investment into the S&P 500, just an index fund for the time being, like VOO or VTI. And then from there, I'm going to continue making monthly contributions from our flipping profits. And I do think this will be a really good way to display compounding growth, help us put our cash to use, build those cash reserves while they're invested so that we can consider doing things like house flipping or perhaps funding and starting an entirely different business. Guys, I know I've been gone for a bit. Just want to say, seriously, thank you guys for watching today's video. I'm really glad to be back, although I do get pretty self-critical, especially when doing new formats like a big monthly update like this. If you've liked the format, let me know. If there's some way that I can make it better for you guys to understand, in the future it'll probably be more focused on just net worth changes and not other stuff, but this one was a bit larger since I've been gone for a little bit. So any ideas of how to make it better, just leave me a comment. Matter of fact, if you're just in a good mood and you want to leave me a comment and say what's up, say hello, please feel free to do so. I've missed you guys. I'm glad to be back. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.